Dan RadioStyle, hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Preparing Your Police, another wonderful chapter out of The Power of Awareness with Neville Goddard. Talks about how our manifestations unfold. And it kind of brought up a couple real key things from the get-go. And then we'll kind of go through the video and see if this all makes sense afterwards. But I get from a lot of people there's this sort of understanding that law of attraction is this special thing. This thing, I turned on law of attraction and I started using these manifestation techniques, and now I'm making things happen to me like magic. The reality of it is, law of attraction has always been working. It's like gravity. It's a law. It's a law of gravity, right? There's this attractive force in gravity that holds us to the ground. Doesn't matter if you know it, doesn't matter if you pay attention to it, doesn't matter, right? And law of attraction is the same way. We manifest by what we focus on, but by what we believe, by what we assume, we manifest. Doesn't matter if we just did it consciously, doesn't matter if we've done it unconsciously. But I think a lot of people, when they start to manifest, they forget that things still unfold. Manifestations are like a flower blossoming. You can't speed it up. You can't make it happen faster. If you try to force it, you damage it. And if you're not patient enough, you may never actually allow it to come to fruition. And if you don't care for it, if you don't water it, if you don't love it, if you don't care for it, it won't blossom as well. Law of attraction is a very awesome understanding. It's something that's always been happening, but it's now us understanding it and utilizing it consciously. And that's really what's happening. So one thing I kind of want us all to keep in mind is manifestations unfold. It's like you may be trying to manifest a specific person or a relationship in your life, and you start using law of attraction, and you're planning on staying in your living room, and you're trying to make him pop out of a portal above you and just fall on your couch. It's not really how manifestations work. Yes, they could randomly show up to your house. They could be the repair guy. Like, you can manifest people to just pop into your house if you don't ever want to go outside. But generally speaking, when you're trying to manifest a relationship, you want to be open to the idea that you may have friends that are like, hey, we're going out to a party at so-and-so's house. Do you want to come? Or, hey, we're going to go out and enjoy this particular establishment, have some dinner, a couple drinks. Do you want to come along? When we're trying to manifest a relationship with someone and we're putting efforts into doing that, and then life throws in front of us, hey, we got an opportunity to go out and be out in public where people might show up. Do you want to come along? Well, being someone that's manifesting this new reality, this new life, the answer should be yeah, unless you're busy, unless something else goes on, but being open to what life then presents us. So we're doing this manifesting work. We're creating these images in our minds. We're feeling as the wish fulfilled, right? We're getting that feeling going. And then we're getting the ball rolling on this very specific manifestation. Well, we then need to be open to what the world shows us that we need to do or react to. So Goddard really does kind of get into this, and I think it helps when we understand that there will be a little interaction needed from us. I know a lot of people, I get a lot of pushback on the no, you don't need action. I've talked to people, there's other teachers that say you don't. Okay, but I disagree. Goddard doesn't necessarily agree. Granted, you can pull small snippets out, but I've pretty consistently seen him talking about reacting and opening up to things that we create and being open to that, right? And allowing it to come into our lives. So he kind of gets into the fact that there is some action. There are some things that need to occur, but, it's a process. All of it, just like a flower unfolding. It's a process. And all mine are thine, and thine are mine. That was from John 17:10. Trust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is coming for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. All is yours. Do not go seeking for that which you are. Appropriate it, claim it, assume it. Everything depends upon your concept of yourself. That which you do not claim as true of yourself cannot be realized by you. The promise is, whosoever hath, to him it shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away, even that which he seemeth to have. This speaks exactly to the concept of where we are in our own beliefs, our own minds, our own rationalization of the world in front of us. For those of us that have, we continue to have. We continue to get more. We continue to create more of that having. And it's because there's that understanding of belief, like I know I have. It's an assumption I have. It's a belief I have. But there are people that believe they don't have, that it can be taken away at any time, that every time they get close, the rug gets yanked out from under them. Again, beliefs, assumptions. And for those people that believe nothing works out for them, hey, guess what? Nothing works out for them. Odd how the beliefs we hold seem to get reinforced in life. And so many of us look at what's showing in life as proof of what's to come, when the reality is what you're seeing in life is proof of what you just did, what you just thought. And then again, of course, our beliefs affect what we actually experience. So hold fast in your imagination to all that is lovely and of good report. For the lovely and the good are essential in your life, if it is to be worthwhile. Assume it. You do this by imagining that you already are what you want to be and already have what you want to have. You assume it. You imagine it. You pretend. Whatever word you want to use, you still act like you have it. You think like you have it. You pretend, you imagine, you create fake scenes in your mind so you can see what it feels like to have it. It is a very powerful way, and he keeps using the word over and over, which is assume it. The assumption of the wish fulfilled is extremely powerful. The assumption, even though it does make an ass out of you and me sometimes, but assuming something to be true is kind of a way of telling the universe, hey, make this so. This is what I'm telling you I would like to have. So as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Be still and know that you are that which you desire to be, and you will never have to search for it, because you are it, right? If you are the thing, then you don't need to go looking for the thing. In spite of your appearance of freedom of action, you obey, as everything else does, the law of assumption. Whatever you may think of the question of free will, the truth is your experiences throughout your life are determined by your assumptions, whether conscious or unconscious. An assumption builds a bridge of incidents that lead inevitably to the fulfillment of itself. What that's basically saying is, if I have an assumption that something is going to happen, and that is an assumption that I've held, I see it, and I believe it, and it's like, this is going to happen. I don't know when, but this is going to happen. I know it is. I'm saying it is. I'm assuming it is. It's going to happen. When you do that, things begin to unfold. Going back to the example I was using about maybe going out, right? You're trying to manifest a relationship. You're assuming it's going to happen. I'm going to meet this person. I'm definitely going to, and I'm going to know it when I meet him. It's going to be this weird, like, kismet when we see each other. Like, it's going to be weird. It's going to be oddly comfortable, like I've known this soul forever. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, that's what's happening. And then 10 minutes later, your best friend texts you and said, hey, we're going out so-and-so tonight. Get some clothes on, grab your good bag, and come on down, right? Well, what you may find when you show up there is there may be some interesting person that's hanging out with their friends. Maybe not, maybe you're into drinking, maybe you're not into drinking, right? But they're behaving exactly how you would want them to be. And you catch eyes a couple times, and then maybe something happens. Maybe you walk to the restroom at some point, you don't see him at the table, you're like, nah, whatever. And then coming out of the restroom as you're walking towards is him. So you give him a smile, you give a little nod, you say, hi, good evening. And all of a sudden, a little ice is broken. Now, maybe a little later, you accidentally bump into each other, or maybe he walks over because your friends are out dancing and you're, right? And he comes over and he says, hey, you're not doing anything. How you doing? I see your friends are out dancing. And then suddenly you're in a conversation. And when he walks up, you recognize him like you've known him all your life. That assumption creates outcomes in life that we then see happen and go, oh, that's it. That's leading me. That's one of the key things I was looking for. That was one of the markers. That was one of the small little things that had to manifest before this other thing could happen. Example two, like, trying to get a relationship with someone. Some people go, oh, I'll try to manifest a text message. So manifesting the relationship, assuming the relationship's going to happen, that text message will happen because of that. Don't worry about manifesting the text message. Man believes the future to be the natural development of the past, but the law of assumption clearly shows that this is not the case. Your assumption places you psychologically where you are not physically. Let me say that again. Your assumption places you psychologically where you are not physically. Then your senses pull you back to where you were psychologically to where you are physically. It is these psychological forward motions that produce your physical forward motion in time. Precognition permeates all the scriptures of the world. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. And now I have told you before it came to pass, that when it come to pass, ye might believe. That was out of John as well. Very key parts of this is the putting us where we are psychologically, right? So when we imagine something, we create a psychological scene, and we place ourselves in that psychological environment. Then we kind of race back to our normal physical senses, right? People talk about, well, I can't live in the end all the time. I can't pretend things are happening with my person when I've got to drive and stuff. Right, exactly. So you put yourself in the psychological position. You pull yourself back to your regular physical world. But in that movement, you've kind of created a bridge. Not kind of, you created a bridge to this psychological reality, to this imagined reality by being there, imagining from that location, and then you come back to your physical reality that creates sort of a bridge. And I say sort of just because it's kind of a weird way to describe it, but it essentially creates a bridge from you, from this future to your current, to your present. And certain things are going to show up on that path. But that is essentially the mechanism at work. So by going and imagining things, by being in it psychologically, and then coming back to physical, that process in and of itself is creative, believe it or not. So there's a lot of people that fight that a little bit. They're like, oh, I'm supposed to always pretend that I'm in it and I'm with them right now, even though I can't see him. And it's very frustrating because I don't know. Well, yeah, it is frustrating because you're trying to be something you're not. Happily imagine it. Imagine it and know it's an imaginative thing and know that you're assuming this to become real. You're making this so. Today, tomorrow, next day, it's going to happen. I know this is happening. And then happily come back to your current reality and know that that's where you're heading and know that you just created a beeline, a straight line. Well, it might be a little zigzaggy, but you've created a line to this reality that you're looking to create. So in this last quote we shared, in my Father's house where I have many mansions, if it were so, I would not have told you. So all of this stuff he's saying, the I in this quotation is your imagination, which goes into the future, into one of the many mansions. Mansions is the state desired. Telling of an event before it occurs physically is simply filling yourself into that state desired until it has a tone of reality. You go and prepare a place for yourself by imagining yourself into the feeling of your wish fulfilled. After reading that, let me read the quote one more time from John. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. And now I have told you before it came to pass, that when it come to pass, ye might believe. It's such a deep phrase. Like, I go there, I'm in this mansion, I've got the wish fulfilled, and then I'm preparing it by all of the works I'm doing. And then I'm going to come and get myself and pull myself to this place, or meet myself and welcome myself to this mansion that I've just prepared, to this manifestation that I have just prepared, because I'm preparing it so when it finally comes to pass, I can look at it and go, this is the thing that I created. Here it is. It is now in front of me. And I know the cause was what I was thinking about last week. It is an important connection that we need to make, that The realities we face in our future are created by the assumptions, by the beliefs, and by the thoughts and imaginations of what we do right now. Our tomorrow is shaped by the beliefs we hold now. Our tomorrow is shaped by the assumptions we hold now. Our tomorrow is shaped by the focus that we hold at this moment about what tomorrow may bring. That belief and that understanding is what does the creation. It's the preparation of the mansion. It's what gets us there. So then you speed from this state of the wish fulfilled, where you have not been physically, back to where you were physically a moment ago. Then, with an irresistible forward movement, you move forward across a series of events to the physical realization of your wish, that where you have been in imagination, there you will also be in flesh. The thing I want to point out again, then with an irresistible forward movement, you move forward across a series of events. It's not that it just happens like that. It doesn't. Yeah, it can, but it generally doesn't. A series of events will happen. Things will show up before you that will help get you to the final outcome. The important part, obviously, when these events come up, you have to act on them. You have to be open to it. When your friends say, hey, do you want to meet up? And you've got no legitimate reason why you can't, other than, I don't know if I want to meet someone in a bar, right? Go out. Even if you don't meet him, get out there. Be out there. Put yourself out there. That's one of the biggest problems with dating these days is a lot of us are so internal inside our lives, right? Other than work maybe, and other than occasionally at the coffee shop or the grocery store, for the most part, we kind of lock ourselves into our houses. So it gets a little harder to interact with each other. One thing I kind of want to keep in mind, I see a manifestation kind of similar, because it's like, holidays are coming up on us, so it makes me think of that a little bit. And manifestations are very much like you're going to have a holiday meal, a little holiday adventure. Maybe it's Thanksgiving, maybe it's Christmas, whatever. Maybe it's Halloween. That's coming up, right? And a little bit of a celebration that can go along with that. And so you're going to have family over, right? So you let people know, hey, doing it Thanksgiving at our house. Just want to let you know. And what you need to do, because again, you're thinking the thoughts, you're imagining dinner on the table, people sitting around it, you're creating the situation. And then as soon as you've done that, as soon as you've sent out the invites, you realize, okay, there's some stuff I got to do. So I need to go to the grocery store, got some errands I need to run, maybe pick up some decorations, right? And then I got to come back and I got to clean the house so it's presentable for the company I'm about to have. And then once I get all that done, then I need to start preparing the meal. So it's a series of events that will lead to this ultimate outcome of dinner with my family. Now, along the steps and process, I'm not looking at it going, oh, there's no way dinner's going to happen. I've still got to clean, right? We will get panicked. We'll feel like we're running out of time. But we don't look at it any one step and say, this isn't going to happen. There's no way dinner can happen because I'm not cooking yet. Or there's no way dinner can happen because I haven't cleaned yet. We understand that there's steps and processes that need to happen, that we need to go through. Trying to make more money, that might be applying for new jobs, might be trying to finish up some schooling. Maybe it's buying some new outfits so you can actually dress a little nicer and people start to treat you a little differently, believe it or not, when you do that. You've got to be open to it. The relationship thing. Are we open to bumping into people, or are we expecting them literally to fall through a portal in our ceiling? It can, but you are definitely minimizing how your manifestation can unfold. You do. You minimize how it can unfold. Kind of like with my little analogy with having family over. Maybe there's a particular store, Mother's, for example, right? And they got really awesome quality food, and it's all organic. But the nearest Mother's to me is not close. So maybe I'm planning on going to Mother's to buy stuff, but as my time starts running out, I realize, all right, I'm just being a little too hard-nosed about where I got to buy some of my ingredients. I'll just go down to the store. They've got a decent organic section. It's not bad. It's just not as good as Mother's. But I'm going to go ahead and go there because, one, it's closer. Two, I can get in and out way faster, so I'll end up saving a bunch of time. So sometimes we've got to adjust the ideal of how things should happen and succumb to the fact that it's going to happen the way it should happen? What's best for this situation to happen? We need to allow things to unfold the way they're designed or the way they're supposed to unfold, like the flower blossoming. You've got to let it happen at its pace. You can't speed it up. You can't slow it down. We can, I guess, but not in the case of a flower blooming. I guess it's going to happen as quick as it happens. And you still got to take care of it. You still got to love it. You still got to water it. You still got to make sure it gets light and food. You've got to take care of your manifestation. You've got to love it, and you've got to allow it. Put yourself in that place. Create that psychological reality, right? That imagining for the wish fulfilled, right? You get the feeling. So you've created the reality of it. Now you jump back to your current reality. You create a bridge basically in that process, and then you assume that's where I'm going. And you accept nothing less. You assume that everything is working towards that outcome. And you let it unfold. And when the events come up, you react, you experience them, and you do whatever it is you need to do at that moment to make that event successful. We need to be open to the fact that this is unfolding. We need to be open to the fact that we're creating a scenario that will unfold. But again, it's steps, it's processes, it's events. And once we step through enough of these, we end up looking exactly where we're at, going, I have finally found my dream. My manifestation has finally occurred, and here it is. This is awesome. Dan, Radio Style.